Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of For You From Eve. In case you're new here, my name is Olivia Eve. I upload episodes every single Friday. A lot of the time they're guest episodes, a lot of the time they're solo episodes, but basically what we talk about on my podcast is all about self-improvement, self-growth, self-love, confidence, success, habits, routine, lifestyle, all those amazing things that pretty much make the basis of your life, your future, your present, all that good stuff. And I'm very excited for today's episode. In case you don't already, make sure you follow me on all my social medias. Everything's at For You From Eve. I link everything in the description below. TikTok and Instagram I've been extremely consistent on. And then of course, my YouTube, I've been extremely consistent with vlogs and YouTube shorts and all that good stuff. So I have been giving you guys a lot of content recently. I was actually just on TikTok live for the first time in my life, and I filmed a little bit of a get ready with me, not much because I'm really not that ready, but I filmed a little bit of a get ready with me for this podcast episode, and it was kind of fun. Like I kind of loved it and I kind of really enjoyed it, but I gave a little sneak peek preview of today's episode to everyone that was on the TikTok live. So definitely make sure that you do follow me on my social medias so you can see a lot more BTS and all that stuff. And also make sure that you listen to my ads all the way through so that way you can support my show, because when you support the show, you support me. And when you support me, I can support you. So that's all we have to begin today's episode. A lot of you guys say I ramble a lot before my episodes, and trust me, I see your comments. I don't even disagree with you. I actually agree with you 100%. But then when I stop rambling, a lot of people are like, wait, what's the update in life? Like, what's going on? And I'm like, people don't like when I talk. So trying to find the balance of like updating you guys on my life and then also getting into the episode. The update that I have in my life right now is I'm actually doing this 30-day workout challenge. It's day 3. I just completed day 3 this morning. And I got my period yesterday, which is so annoying because I feel like it's slowing me down a little bit. I feel like it's taking a lot of my energy. So yesterday I walked for an hour on the treadmill, and today I walked for 25 minutes and I was like, I'm dying. Like I'm so tired, but I was like, I'm forcing myself to do an hour, and I forced myself to do an hour. I got home from my hour walk. I wanted to hit a back day, but my cramps were just saying go home, and sometimes you just have to listen to your body. So after my 1 hour walk, I went home, took a shower, ate breakfast, made a coffee. Now I'm here. Here is my coffee of the day. It's honestly not hitting today, and I don't know why. It's just not that good today, which sucks. That's like the worst feeling because you get so excited for your coffee and then you don't have a good coffee day and you're just annoyed. But as for the 30-day challenge, I made a deal with my boyfriend, and I told him if I do 30 days of consecutively working out, can you get me a gift at the end of it, either like a new workout set or a new hoodie or something? I've been wanting the A9 Bang hoodie so badly. So I'm hoping for something like that. But I've been super busy recently with work, trying to get back on track with everything. But I've also been super organized with everything I have going on. Tax season is upon us, and I've been in a bit of a deep depression about it, but I'm trying my best. I'm excited for today's episode. Like always, I have my notes in front of me, so I don't want to like lift up my computer, but I have my notes right here in front of me. So if you're watching the video version and you see me looking down, it's because I'm looking at the notes. And if you see me squinting, it's because I need to wear glasses and I'm not wearing them. But today we're going to be talking about questions to ask yourself if you still haven't found the relationship that you want. I'm really excited for this episode. Just a little background on me in case you're listening to this and you're like, who is this girl that I'm taking relationship advice from? I'm 24 years old. I was in a long-term relationship in the past. It ended. We dated for about 4 or 5 years. I was single for about 1.5 years, and now I'm with my current partner who I've been with for almost a year. And I will say that I have learned so much. Yes, I'm not that old and wise, I guess you could say. A lot of people could be listening to this and be like, I don't want to listen to a 24-year-old. But I will say I've learned a lot about myself being single. I've learned a lot about myself being in the wrong relationship, and I've learned a lot about myself being in the right relationship and just being alone. And I've learned a lot just from seeing what other people are going through. So I will go ahead and say that I do think that I have a decent amount of good experience when it comes to love, but I'm not an expert. I'm not a guru. Like, I am just a girl speaking from experience, speaking from what I've experienced and what I know from other people. But I'm excited because we have 15 hard-hitting questions for you guys to ask yourself today. So here are 15 questions that you need to be asking yourself if you still don't have the relationship that you want. Question number 1. What does love mean to you? Define love for me. Is love to you comfort and security? Is it a best friend? Is it something that you just feel like you need to accomplish in life? What is love to you? Is it what you see in romance movies? Is it something you just build up in your head? Because I know a lot of people. I have a lot of friends. I have a lot of people that I just know. And love is very different to each and every single one of those people. For some of those people, love is just somebody that they can see being good for their future. Like, oh yeah, me and this guy, we have some nice things in common and we get along, but at the end of the day, he'd be a good husband and he could be a good father. And I love that. And I want that. And that's what they want. A lot of women are like, I have so much fun with this guy. We have so much fun together. We laugh together. We understand each other. We get deep with each other. Would he be a good husband or father? I hope he would grow to be one. But as of right now, I want to focus on the fact that we're best friends and we're going to get there together. A lot of the time, people are in a relationship because they feel like they need to be in one. So yes, I love this person, but I also love this person because I think I'm supposed to love this person. I think this is the person I'm supposed to love and supposed to be with and supposed to end up with. So I think that you need to first decide, what does love mean to you? And what does it mean to be loved? And what does it mean to love? What does it mean to have a loving relationship? For me, a loving relationship with somebody who shared my morals and values is somebody that I could see building a future with, but that I could also have so much fun with. I think that I always grew up with a very traditional mindset, which made me want to go for a traditional man. So someone that has the same morals and values, someone where if I'm working with kids and I look at him and I say, hey, I want to focus on being the woman of the house. I want to focus on being a mother to my children. I don't want to work anymore. He's going to understand that rather than bring me down for that. But I also wanted to be with a man where if my career took a complete crazy direction, he would sit there and support me and not be, jealous or envious. And I will say the relationship that I'm in now, we're both at really great places in our career. There's no competition at all. But if I were to go to my significant other and be like, I am making $1 million this year from my podcast, right? Imagine I said that and he was like mad at me and he was like, what? You're making $1 million? That's so insane. Like, that's so stupid that people like pay this much for podcasts. Like, there's unfortunately significant others out there where a woman's success will bring down the man's ego. I'm in a relationship where if I told my man I was making more money than him or more successful, he'd be like, woo, that's awesome. When are we retiring? Like, I'm in a relationship like that, but I'm also in a relationship where if I went to my significant other and I said, hey, let's say this is in the future when we have children, I'm like, hey, I'm not happy with what I do. I want to just be home with the kids. He would say, okay, great. I'll work extra hours. So I think it's really important to decide, what does love mean to you? Does love mean having that comfort and security so that you can live your future that you want? Or does it mean just being with a best friend and figuring it out along the way? Because love can have so many different definitions and you need to decide what you define as love. And a lot of time we define love as what we know love to be. So we might look at our parents and say, well, I want what they have. Or we might look at our parents and say, I want what they didn't have. I don't want what they had. We might look at our best friend who's in a relationship or our older sisters and realize that's something we want. So I do think that we are very influenced by the people around us, by our environment, by who we know. And I think that has a big effect on the way that love is defined to you. But I also do think that definition of love changes a lot, especially when you're in a relationship you always thought you wanted and it turns out to be shit. And you're like, wait, maybe I don't care about comfort and security as much as I care about being with somebody who just gets me. Like, maybe love is just somebody that gets me, somebody that sees my flaws and still accepts it and wants to grow with me. I think love is all about growing with somebody. And I think when you find someone that you're growing with and growing for, it's just so amazing. And I also think when it comes to defining love, I actually got asked this question to me, maybe I think one day before my now partner DM'd me. And I was talking to someone at a wedding and they were like, would you rather date a man who's like 30 and he's got it all figured out? Like, he's got his finances in check. Like, he has his life planned out for him and he's 30 years old and whatever. And would you rather date him and have that comfort and security? Or would you rather date a guy who's 25 and who's figuring it out in his business? And I was like, I'd rather date the 25-year-old who's figuring it out in his business. I'd rather grow with somebody. I'd rather be a part of somebody's journey. Like, I would rather go through the hard times and go through the struggles. And a day later, I find a 26-year-old who's just opened up his own business. So it's just so crazy that what I wanted is actually what I got. Like, God listened to me. It's like, all right, you want to deal with this? Let's put you through it. And I know that one day it's going to be so rewarding, because I do think being in a relationship in your young 20s is such a funny thing to navigate, because you're both going through so many changes and you're both trying to make it in your own ways. And then you're trying to make it separately while also trying to make it together. So if you have a partner that is willing to grow for you and grow with you, you have everything in the world. The next question I want you to ask yourself, do you think relationships are something you earn or something that you are bound to receive? So do you think that you need to be a certain version of yourself before you get into a relationship? Do you think there's certain things that you need to accomplish before getting into a relationship? I want you to ask yourself that. Maybe you think, oh, well, I'm not worthy of getting into a relationship until I make X amount of money. I'm not worthy of getting into a relationship until I lose X amount of weight. I'm not worthy of getting into a relationship until I completely heal from my past and I don't project this onto somebody else. So do you think that it is something that you earn or something that you're going to receive no matter what? Because I think a lot of the time when we view it as something that we earn, we have to put ourselves in a mindset of, okay, well, I have to do X, Y, and Z in order to be deserving of this. And when you think that way, nothing will ever be enough for you. You're never going to think you lost enough weight to be attractive. You never are going to think you're making enough money to be successful. You're never going to think that you are ready in any aspect of your life to be in a relationship. You're never going to think you're healed enough to be in a relationship. You're never going to think that your heart is ready to open up again when you've been in a relationship. So I feel like just realize that if you do see a certain version of yourself that's in a relationship, realize that version of yourself can also be built up while you're in the relationship. So yes, you might have certain goals for yourself, and I think that's amazing, and I think that you should work on them. But if your partner comes along the way as you're working on them, let them in on it, let them be a part of it. I know when I met my partner, I was not looking for anything. I was simply just working on myself. I was really focusing on my faith, focusing on my business, focusing on my fitness, all that good stuff. And when my partner came along, I had zero interest of any distractions. I didn't want my peace to get disturbed. I was at so much peace, and I was protecting my peace like my life depended on it. And so when my current partner came along, I wanted nothing to do with him. I didn't want to go on a date. I didn't want to get to know him because I was like, I'm finally working on this version of myself I've always wanted. I don't want to go on a date with somebody that could disrupt it and ruin it. Obviously, I went on the date anyways because something was telling me I should. I went on the date and look what happened. Like now he's the love of my life. So I think it's so crazy because yes, I got into a relationship, but it didn't sidetrack me. I will say that in the beginning, it sidetracked me a little bit off my goals because I think in the beginning I was very big on like getting to know him and spending a ton of time with him and just, you get infatuated in the beginning and you just want to be with them all the time. So I did steer off the wrong direction a little bit, but then as we kind of built our relationship up a little bit more and we talked about our goals and everything, I realized like this person motivates me. Like he motivates me to want to be better in my career and my success and my fitness. So I think that you need to realize, yes, there might be a certain version of yourself that you want to hit before you get into a relationship, but you also need to accept, hey, it's okay if I don't hit this version of myself until I'm in my relationship. The next question I want you to ask yourself is, if finding the love of your life meant that you would have to grow and heal, would you even want to meet them? Or do you want to sit in your misery? Do you want to continue being sad? Do you want to continue being broken? Or are you willing to put in that work to be healed and to grow? I will answer actually on my partner's behalf, just in the sense that he will say, like he would admit this, like he was a little bit hesitant on reaching out to me in the beginning. He followed me on Instagram a few, like 7 months before he ever DM'd me. Maybe not that long, maybe like 4 or 5 months before he ever DM'd me. He followed me on Instagram. I remember I accepted him. I followed him back. He never DM'd me, never anything. And when I ask him about it now, he's like, yeah, I saw your Instagram and I was like, whoa, this is a girl I need to be ready for. Like, this is not a girl that I can just ask out. Like, no, I have to be ready for this woman. Like, he was like, I saw your Instagram and I was like, this is a woman. Like, this is a woman that's got her shit together. Like, she's got her faith in God. She's going to the gym. She's working hard on her business. Like, she comes from a good family. Like, this is the type of girl that I need to be ready for. And he knew in order to be with me, he was going to have to face different responsibilities. He was going to have to take work more seriously. He was going to have to be on a better routine. He wasn't going to be able to sleep in and play video games 24/7. Or not that he was doing that. He was working. But I'm just saying, when you see a girl that you know you're going to be very serious with, you know there's probably lifestyle changes you're going to have to make for her. And so for him, he was very hesitant to reach out to me because he had to ask himself, am I ready to grow? Am I ready to take on this responsibility? Like, he had to ask himself that before ever reaching out to me. And so when he reached out to me initially and we went on a first date, he knew like, okay, I'm taking this first step into, is this a girl I like? And am I willing to take on, the growing and the healing to be with her? And obviously after a few dates, he was like, yeah, he had to ask himself, like, am I willing to take this on? And granted, he was able to take it on and he took me on. And now his life is very different. His morals, his values, his responsibilities, everything in your life changes when you meet the one, because you realize like, I want to build a life for this person. And now he's at a point where he's very much like, I want to build a life for this woman and for us together to have a family, to have all these things. So I think that a lot of the time we do have to ask ourselves, like, do I feel like growing and healing, or do I like the fact that I can make it an excuse that I'm sad and I can sit home all day? Like, I think for us as women, maybe we go through heartbreak and it really does suck, but we get so comfortable in the sadness. We get comfortable in the misery. We get comfortable in feeling these things. And because we get comfortable feeling these things, we suddenly are very much like, I don't even want to be with anyone new, because then I have to actually pick myself out of bed. Then I actually have to start going to the gym again. Then I actually have to start journaling again or meditating again or whatever it is. So I think a lot of the time we like sulking in our misery. We like being sad. Like, we genuinely enjoy it. It's more comforting to us to be sad than to grow and be happy. So we'll stay in these shit relationships, or we'll stay being heartbroken because it's like, well, I don't want to get to know this person because that would include me having to get my shit together, and I'm not ready to get my shit together. I'm good being sad right now. So I think that you need to ask yourself, like, if you knew you were going to meet your love of your life, are you ready to grow and heal for them? The next question I want you to ask yourself is, if you had to make a plan or whatever, or strategy for love, what would you do? Where would you start? What's the first thing you would do? If your best friend came to you and said, I want to find love, what's the first thing you would tell them, right? Would you tell them to cut out someone from their past? Would you tell them to stop reaching out to someone else? Would you tell them to stop being friends with someone? Would you tell them to cut a certain thing of their life out of their lifestyle? What would you do? Because I know for me, I would say, oh yeah, I really want a relationship. But then it was like, I was going out to the bars and clubs Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. This was like for a very short period of life. I was entertaining people from my past, and it was like, how am I supposed to find the love of my life when I'm not moving on from my past and I'm sticking on to the past, and I'm talking to people from my past, or I'm living something in life that my significant other probably wouldn't want me doing, and my significant other probably isn't at the club on a Saturday night in New York City. Like, he's probably not there. So I think that you need to really ask yourself that if you were to make a strategy or plan for love, what would be on that strategy or plan? I saw this TikTok once, and this girl was like, if you want to find the love of your life, go to places that you want them to be. Whether it's Whole Foods on a Sunday morning, or it's a running track on a Saturday morning, or whatever the hell it is. She was like, go to the places you want to find your significant other. Because if you're there and they're there, you guys probably have the same interests. So it's like, if they're at a bookstore on a Saturday night and you're at a bookstore on a Saturday night, or if they're at church on a Sunday morning and you go to church on a Sunday morning, that's more likely you're finding somebody that you actually align with, and that you'll be proud to get to know, you know? So I feel like if you were to make a plan / strategy for love, you'd probably start cutting off people from your past. You'd probably start focusing on yourself, creating your own goals. And then you'd probably start trying to find ways of like, how can I find them? And I will say, like, I will admit this, and I know this is so annoying when people say this. I don't think this is the case for everybody, but I really did find what I was looking for when I stopped looking. I would never say that I was actively looking. Like, I was never going to places to find men or anything like that, but I was very open to anything. Like, not open to anything, I don't mean it like that. Like, I was very like, if someone that I was interested in wanted to get to know me, like, I was open to getting to know them, because I was like, why not? But I will say that, like, I was very big on, these are the core values I hold in a man, and until someone matches that, I'm not into it. But I do think you get to a point when you want a relationship so bad, you're willing to overlook so many things. And with my current partner, I didn't want a relationship at all, and I think that's why it worked out, because I wasn't looking for anything. I didn't want him. So I went on the first date pretty much being like, this is who I am and this is what I want, and if you can't give it to me, don't waste my time. And he ended up falling in love with me, and I ended up falling in love with him, and it was so not something I expected, or even he expected. So I just feel like it really is just so crazy, because I think sometimes we try to look for it, and then it really does find us when we're not looking for it. And I know how annoying that is to hear, because when I was single and my best friend was in a happy relationship and she was like, it comes when you least expect it, I was like, shut the hell up. Like, it's not coming. It's not coming. And then I finally just sat down and wasn't looking for it, and it happened. So I just think that keep that hope within you, but keep it in the back of your mind and really don't focus on it that much. The next thing I want you to ask yourself is the idea of an awkward first date, or the cringiness or the annoyance of getting to know somebody worse than spending the next few years alone. I think that a lot of the time, the reason a lot of us stay single is because we are tired of putting ourselves out there. We're tired of going on bad first dates. We're tired of getting to know somebody and having it not work out and getting our hopes up and getting disappointed and all that stuff. So I think we just start sheltering ourselves. And I think this is so normal. Like, I feel like it's unbearable at this point to like keep going on dates that keep disappointing you. It's like, why am I going to keep putting myself through this? So I do think that the reason a lot of us stay single is because we've gone on too many bad first dates, and we're like, I'm good off this now. Like, I've had enough bad first dates. Like, I don't want to go on first dates anymore. I don't want to put myself through this. Everything's a disappointment. You don't want to get excited over anybody anymore. Like, how many situations have we been in where we go on a date with somebody, or we go on 2 dates or 3 dates with somebody, and we go back to our friends, oh my God, I love him. He's the best. He's so amazing. I really think this is going to work out. And then he ghosts you, or then he cuts things off with you a week later, and you're like, are you kidding me? Like, now I have to tell my friends that this didn't work out. It's just so insane. So I just feel like it's so important to realize, like, yes, you might have had a lot of shitty things in the past and a lot of repetitive patterns, but at the end of the day, you shouldn't stop putting yourself out there. Maybe stop putting yourself out there to the same type of people. Maybe you're just following a pattern of the people you're going for. Maybe take a step back from that and try to explore something new. The next question I want you to ask yourself is, are you open to admitting that you're looking for love? I feel like a lot of time we're embarrassed to admit, like, yeah, I'm looking for a serious relationship, or like, yeah, I'm looking for like something long term. I feel like a lot of time we're embarrassed to admit that. It's like, do you feel desperate? Do you feel uncomfortable? Do you feel embarrassed? Do you not want to ask for help? Do you not want to lay your cards out on the table? Like, what is it that you don't want to show? And let me say something. So when it comes to your friends, right? Let's say you don't want to admit to your friends that you're looking for love. Like, let's say you don't want to go to your friends and you're like, I don't want them to set me up, or I don't want them to feel like they have to set me up or whatever. A lot of the time, like, let's say you're single and two of your best friends in a relationship, so you hang out with her and her boyfriend a lot, and you're too embarrassed to tell them, like, yeah, I'm looking for love, I want what you guys have. Like, let's say you don't want to tell them that, and you want to just act like you're chill with your go with the flow. The reason you're probably doing that is because you've been so disappointed in the past that you don't want to lay your cards out. You don't want to be vulnerable and let them know, like, yeah, I'm looking for love, but nothing's worked out. I must be the problem, because if I'm looking for it, then, that's how you start to view it. And then I think a lot of the time we get embarrassed to say we're looking for love when we're on dates because we think the other person isn't going to reciprocate it and we don't want to scare them off. Let me explain to you. It is impossible to scare off the right man, okay? It is impossible to scare off the right man. You are never asking for too much. You are just asking the wrong person. So let me put that into perspective for you. I went into the first date with my current boyfriend, and like I said, I didn't even want a relationship. So because I didn't want a relationship, I didn't play any games. I didn't care. I wasn't playing a role. Like, I still got nervous. I got excited around him. But at the end of the day, like, I was very much like, this is me. Like, I got out of the car and I was like very much myself. And I remember we were at the restaurant for like 7 hours talking, and I was very much myself, maybe too much myself. Like, he was like, so like, he didn't really ask like, what are you looking for? But the conversation just flowed so naturally that it's like, sometimes I think of our first date and I just laugh at the fact that like the first date we had and where we are now. I just think it's so funny. But I will say, like, I laid it out on the table, like, yeah, like, I am looking for something serious. Like, I don't play games. I don't play the game. I don't get to know more than one person at once. Like, I straight up told him, like, if you are getting to know anybody else right now while you're getting to know me, like, don't text me after tonight, because this isn't going to go anywhere. Like, you either get to know me and you're getting to know me, or that's it. Like, you're not going to get to know me and multiple other women at the same time. Like, I don't care. If there's something from your past, you cut it off. And if you have a date planned the week after you have mine, like, you better hope it's not happening anymore. Like, I don't play like that. I don't get to know more than one person at once, and I expect the same energy. And I straight up told him that. And a lot of men would be like scared of that, and they'd be like, whoa, relax. Like, we haven't even been on a date. I don't even know if I like you yet. You're not for me then. Like, I'm good off that. And a lot of men are like that. So I think that's why it's scary to admit what we're looking for, because we don't want that type of reaction. But then the mistake is we go into it, yeah, I'm cool, I'm chill. Yeah, I'm getting to know a lot of people too. They say they're getting to know a lot of people. You agree with them. We go into it like we're so cool and so chill. And then you get feelings for them and they're like, oh, well, I don't know if I want this to be exclusive. And you're like, but, and they're like, well, I told you I was getting to know more than one person. And now you're sitting in a circle of like, shit, I was only getting to know them, or shit, like, I knew I was going to want more than this. So why even put yourself in that position? Start off by being very honest with what it is that you want. That's one of my boyfriend's favorite things that I did, because I demanded respect from him. I demanded, hey, this is what I want, and this is who I am, and this is what I'm about. If you're not going to match that, this is a waste of time, So I feel like it's not like I sat down and I was like, all right, let's lay down the law. No, obviously you have fun, you flirt, like, you have a good conversation. But when those topics come up, I don't shy away from them. I'm very honest with what it is that I want, and just all of that. And I think that it's very much okay to admit that you're looking for love. And you don't have to say the words, I'm looking for love, but you can say, like, I'm looking for something serious. Like, I date to marry. I think saying that you date to marry is very normal and something that a lot of people do. The next question I want you to ask yourself is, do you have a type or do you have a pattern? Do you keep going for the same amount of men with the same amount of habits, the same jobs, the same looks, whatever it is? Like, is there a type that you have? Are you saying, oh, well, this is just my type? Or is that just your pattern? Are you used to going for something that's going to stress you out? A lot of the time, we continue to go into relationships that literally stress us out, that are going to make us excited. We become addicted to the thrill of being in a relationship, when really a relationship is not about thrill. It is about peace. It is about finding somebody that you are at peace with. It's not about finding someone who's always going to keep you guessing. And don't get me wrong, when you go into a peaceful relationship, you might be scared because you're going to be like, well, it's going to get so boring because I know that they're going to text me. I know that there's no game of like, oh my God, he texted me. It's like, all of that goes away. And I will say, like, I think that it's very normal sometimes to not miss it, but like be like, wow, like not miss, but like when you go without the toxic for a while and without the arguing and the screaming and the fighting and the cursing and the fire and the on and off and whatever, and you're just in a good relationship, you become very grateful for your good relationship. There might be times where you maybe get a little bored or things feel a little bit slow, but when you're with the right person, you'd rather feel that way. Like, I will say, like, in the past, I've liked fighting with partners. Like, I've liked it because it kept it alive. It's like, I'd rather be fighting with you than not talking to you at all. So it's like, I'd rather be fighting with my situationship in the past because it's like, at least we're talking, at least, you know, I feel that you're caring about me a little bit right now. And then once you get into a serious relationship and that doesn't happen, you're like, whoa, like, this is such a weird switch off. But then you realize when you're in a healthy relationship, you don't want to fight with your partner. I think that is a big thing to realize. Like, that's a big part of growth, is when you realize, okay, wait, I actually don't want to fight with my partner, and I hate fighting with my partner, and I hate when we're mad at each other. That's when you realize, like, you're with the right person. Because I think with the wrong person, you enjoy fighting with them a little bit. Like, you enjoy the fire, you enjoy the spark, you enjoy like the going back and forth and the little fights and the little toxic games. You enjoy that when you're with the wrong person. But when you're with the right person, you're like, wait, I don't want to have to experience this. Like, I don't want us to fight. I don't want us to not be talking to each other. You become simply just in love with feeling at peace with this person. And it's like, oh my God, he didn't text me all day. That's just because he's busy at work. It's not like he's probably doing this, or maybe I did something that made him mad. Like, games are simply out the window. So once you realize you have a pattern of going for something more chaotic, you're going to realize, like, wait, maybe I should go for something a little bit more peaceful. And it's so normal to be addicted to the chaos. Like, I think a lot of the time we think a healthy relationship is boring just because we're accustomed to chaos. We're used to it. We feel more comfortable burning in chaos than we do just breathing in calmness. So I think it's really important to realize you don't like somebody that's exciting. You're just used to somebody that makes you anxious. Like, that's all it is. You're just used to somebody who makes you anxious. And when you're with somebody that's not making you anxious, you might think, oh, maybe I don't feel enough for them. It's like, no, you just don't feel the need to overbear yourself with emotions and feelings and all that stuff, because it's coming naturally with this person. And I just feel like that's a really, really, really important thing to realize about yourself as well, is, do I have a type or do I have a pattern? And just go with people that you feel like you when you know, and if you feel like you should be getting to know somebody, you should be getting to know them. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But if it does, it does, even if they're so different than what you're used to. Question number 8, are you aware of what your needs are in a long-term relationship? Have you had enough experiences in relationships where you know what you don't want, where you know what you want? Have you spent enough time alone to know your standards of love? I think that's a really important thing. I did not realize what I wanted in a relationship until I was single and alone. And the reason is because when you're single and alone, you have a lot of time to provide yourself with a lot of things. So I had a lot of time to provide myself support, happiness, all those amazing care, like all those things I started to support myself with. So when I was fresh out of a long-term relationship, it was a big wave of, wait, I feel really lonely because I don't have this person to talk about my day with, to work out with, to talk to go out with on the weekends. Like, I have no weekend plans, like, etc., whatever it was. So it hits you with a big wave. But then over time of being single, you learn how to do things on your own. You learn how to not tell anybody about your day. You learn how to not have a companion. You learn to not have somebody in your corner, which I think is the hardest part. You really feel like you're going into life alone a little bit. You don't feel like you have somebody there no matter what. Even if you have really great family or really great friends, a partner, it can be very different. So I think that you have to be hit with that. But in the times of being single, I was able to teach myself what are my needs, aka what have I given myself while being single that a man has to match. Because a man shouldn't have to match your past. A man shouldn't have to match what your past partner gave you. A man should have to match what you're able to give yourself. So for me personally, I was able to financially support myself through my work. I was able to support myself just in general, give myself support and care. I was able to love myself. I was able to have fun with myself and enjoy my own company. So now when a man came in the picture, it's, are you going to make me happier than I make myself? Are you going to make me feel more supported than I already do? Because now those become my long-term needs. My long-term needs is being with somebody who can match what I can already give myself and excel it even more. So I think you need to realize what are your long-term needs, and the reason and the way you find your long-term needs is by either past failed situationships or relationships, relationships and being on your own. You're going to figure out what it is that you want and what it is that you don't want when it comes to a relationship. The next question, number 9, is are you willing to be in a relationship that's going to demand you being more patient and growing alongside someone? You're going to need a lot of patience when you're in a relationship. You might love somebody, but at the end of the day, they're going to have flaws, and there's going to be things that they are going to need to fix for your future, whatever it is, and vice versa. Like, you're going to need things, and unless it's like a huge problem, there's going to be a lot of minor things that you're going to say, I love this man, but I don't want my children to have this quality of his, or I want him to fix this flaw of his before we get married or before we have children. And unless it's something huge that can't be changed, it's probably something minor that can be changed. So I think that you need to realize there's probably also a lot of things that you need to change as well. So are you patient enough to stay with somebody while they're growing? And are you strong enough to grow with somebody next to you? I think it is so important to realize, like, you're going to be in a relationship, you're going to be demanded to grow. And a lot of the time in relationships, one person's running while the other person's walking. So you might be running, you might be flourishing in your career, and you figured out what it is that you want to do with your future, and now you're working on it, you're capitalizing it, you're on routine, you're on lifestyle, you're having great habits, you're focusing on yourself, and your partner may be walking. Your partner may have just gotten laid off from a job. They might still be figuring out what to do. They might have gone through something in life and they need to get their way over it, right? So sometimes in relationships, one person's walking and one person's running. That's when you learn patience. That's when you learn, I need to be patient. I need to wait for them to keep up with me, because eventually they will. A lot of the time we'll be walking at the same pace. A lot of the time they'll be ahead. A lot of the time I'll be ahead. But the most important thing in a relationship is that we remain on the same path. And if we're on the same path, someone could be a few steps ahead while someone's a few steps behind. You have patience and you learn and grow together. Next question I want you to ask yourself, number 10, is are you more afraid of the relationship working out or not working out? I think a lot of the time people are more afraid of the relationship working out, because if the relationship works out, that's it. You're done. No more dates, no more first dates, no more questioning who it is that you're going to marry. A lot of people don't like comfort and security. A lot of people like the fact that they have their school figured out, they have their environment figured out, they have their job figured out, they have their friends figured out. The only thing missing that they don't have figured out is their partner. So a lot of the time they'll be afraid when they're in a relationship, like, wait, what if this does work out? Then my whole life is figured out for itself, and that will freak out for them. Like, that'll make them freak out. They don't like that comfort. They don't like having a 5-year plan. They don't like being type A and knowing all of these things. So they'd rather self-sabotage and ruin the relationship so that they still have something to look forward to, so that they still have something that's missing that they need to grab. And it just is, it's about the chase. It's about being in love with the chase. And I think a lot of the time, humans, women, men, whatever it is, are so in love with the chase that they'll keep putting themselves in little moments of disappointment or temporary happiness or sadness or whatever it is, simply so that they can feel the chase again. Number 11, are you able to accept the fact that even if your relationship were to dissolve or fail, that you can still stand on your own 2 feet? Because I feel like you need to realize, as much as you want a relationship, if that relationship doesn't work out, are you going to be okay on your own? And I think it depends a lot on who you are before you get into a relationship. In my first relationship, I was only 17 years old before my relationship. I was too young to be on my own 2 feet. So when the relationship ended, it felt like my world ended. I didn't build anything on my own, because from 17 to 22, you're really developing as a woman. And when you do that alongside somebody and then you're forced to kind of be 22 and alone, you're like, wait, I don't know how to do a lot of things, because most of my life and a really important part of my life as a woman was spent with somebody else. So then you're kind of forced to like learn how to be on your own 2 feet. So before getting into the relationship I'm in now, my partner right now is my life. Like, he is my life. There's no situation that either of us see where we end up breaking up. Like, there's nothing like, oh, is one of us going to lose feelings? Is one of us going to cheat? Is one of us going to this? None of that. Even, we can't even comprehend it. Like, we simply cannot even comprehend the fact that either of us would do something to lose the other. This is very morbid, but the only way that we would not be together is if, God forbid, one of us were to pass away. Like, that is the only thing that you can think of. And when you're healthy, when you're in a healthy relationship, you realize that. You're like, wait, the only thing I'm afraid of is them dying. I'm not afraid of them cheating. I'm not afraid of them doing this. I'm just afraid of them dying. Like, that's all you think about. So, God forbid, for some reason that we did break up or whatever, just to be realistic, I have to think to myself, like, okay, I got to be okay on my own 2 feet. Like, I got to make sure that even if this person isn't in my life, I'm going to be good on my own. And that comes from who you build yourself as before you meet this person. And I had about 1.5 years of just self-growth and self-improvement before meeting my current partner. So I was able to just grow on my own. I was able to learn so much about myself. I was able to develop routine and habits, my career. Like, this didn't come from anybody. This came from me. And so I think that it's really important to realize, like, yes, I'm ready for love and I think I'm ready for a relationship, but also realize if the relationship doesn't work out, am I going to be good on my own? Because guess what? You have to be. You have to make sure you build that foundation with yourself before opening up to somebody else. Number 12, if you knew you were meeting the love of your life next week, is there anything that you would do that you think you would miss out on after being in a relationship? So girls' night out, alone time, whatever it is. I will say that like in every relationship, you should be respected some alone time and some space to yourself, but it shouldn't be too repetitive. I think that when my partner tells me like I had a long day at work, I just want to like get off my phone and play video games tonight, I don't get offended by it. I don't get annoyed. But if we were living together, and like you have to think also, like if you're living with your partner and they come home from a long day at work and they're like, I want to be alone, what are they going to do? Shut the door on you or like put a pillow in between you and bed? Like you should also be able to balance your partner and also demand and respect and be accepting of that alone time. So if I tell my partner, like, I just want to read my book tonight or I just want to watch my show tonight, he's going to be like, okay, cool, but is everything okay? And I'm going to be like, yeah. But if my partner were to be like, I just want to play video games, and I'm like, oh, well, can I come over and watch TV while you play video games? His answer should not be no. I'm sorry, but it shouldn't be. And that's how I am. Like, I'm very lucky my partner will never dismiss me from coming over just because he wants alone time. He'll be like, yeah, you can come over, but I'm probably just gonna be playing video games, or like I'm probably just gonna be on my phone in my room. And I'll be like, yeah, that's cool, I just want to coexist. Because eventually you're gonna live together. Eventually, you know, if it goes down that path, you're gonna live together, you're gonna be married, and it's like you're still gonna need alone time, but how are you gonna do it when you're living together? It has to be in a respectable space. So I think that alone time is very necessary in a relationship. And girls' night out can also be very necessary. I think it depends on your relationship. Like me and my partner don't really do boys' night out, girls' night out. I think it's a healthy thing to do sometimes, but he was way more of a homebody than I was. Before we got into a relationship, my boyfriend was a homebody. He was never going out prior to us dating. So why would he all of a sudden start going out? Unless it's like a bachelor or bachelorette trip, neither of us are just going out for no reason. Neither of us are going to clubs with the guys or girls for no reason. It just doesn't make any sense for us. Question number 13 I want you to ask yourself is, do you think more about what you could give to a relationship or what you will receive from a relationship? Do you think of all the amazing qualities that you have that you could give a partner, or do you think of all the amazing things a partner could give you? I want you to ask yourself that. And there's not really a right or wrong answer. I think it's a healthy balance of both. I think you need to realize, like, what do I bring to the table? Like, what do I bring to the table in a relationship? Am I supportive? Am I wanting to help my partner grow? Like, I know for me, I was very big on when I meet the man of my dreams, I want to help him grow, whatever that entails, whether that means just being his support system or making sure he comes home to a clean house with a fresh cooked meal. Like, I want my partner to be so hardworking. I want my partner to be driven by our future. I want him to work hard so he could give us a good life. And so I always thought that way. And if him working so hard insists that he come home to a clean house with good food in the fridge and on the table and clean clothes for work, I will do that because he is doing what I want to receive. I will also do what I want to give. So I think you need to realize, what is it that I can give to a relationship? What is it that I want from a relationship? And that'll help you to kind of, when you meet people, to kind of decipher, oh, is this actually what I'm looking for? So for example, if you want a man that provides and you meet a man that doesn't really work and doesn't have any goals or anything, you're probably not going to want to be with him, because how is he going to provide for you when he can't even provide for himself? If you want a man that protects and you're on a date with somebody who goes to their parents for everything or doesn't stand on their own 2 feet, well, you probably don't want to be with somebody then if you want someone who protects and this person is not giving any protective energy. So I think it's really important to realize, what do you think of that you can give, and what do you think of that you can receive, and what do you think of more? Question number 14. Are you ready to give up your definition of love and let love define itself? Because a lot of the time we have a certain definition of what we think love is supposed to be like, what we want love to be like, and it usually doesn't end up being that way. We usually have somebody come into our life that either ruins our definition of love or creates our definition of love. Are you willing to let go of the definition of love that you've always known and be open to a new one? Because let me tell you something, I was open to a whole new type of love when I met my current partner, and I know he would say the same thing too. I had a whole idea of what I thought love was, and it got completely crushed. And then I was like, wait, maybe that's not what love is. And now I'm with my partner and I'm like, this is what love is. I simply cannot believe that I thought anything else was love until I was in this relationship. So I think that you need to be ready to accept the fact that you don't actually know everything, and love might be completely different than what you ever thought it was. And question number 15, are you ready for love to change you? Because you better be ready. You better be ready to grow. You better be ready to heal. You better be ready to grow some patience and understanding, and be ready to just let your heart open up. You need to remove everything from the past that fills up your heart to make room for something new. I always talk about how you have to just let there be room in your heart. If you want love, you have to make enough room in your heart for it to be let in there. And this is something I'm so heavy on believing, because simply you cannot be in a healthy, loving relationship if you don't make the room for it first. So you need to make sure that you let go of things from the past, you start working on yourself, and love will let itself into your life. That's how I'm going to end today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it, enjoyed the nice cozy vibes. I've been loving doing video podcasts just like in my bed. It's super chill. I do want to get a new microphone situation though. Like, I will admit, I kind of hate holding my microphone, but I don't know what other situation that I would honestly do. Like, I could get like a really long microphone tripod, and then like this plug disconnects a lot, so it's really annoying. So I don't know exactly what I want to do. I was doing the podcast from like my chair for a bit, but I realized that I do really like it this way. I just hate holding the microphone, and I don't know how to like make it so that you don't hear background noise, because if I laid it on my bed on a tripod, you would hear it. So I'd have to like connect it to like, I don't even know what I would have to do. I think I'd have to get like a standing mic tripod and like bend it over my bed or something like that, which is kind of crazy, but I might honestly do that. Or maybe stick it onto my headboard, right? I feel like that could work. I'm just like really over holding this microphone because it unplugged like 4 times this episode, which I'm so annoyed by. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Always make sure that you follow me on my social medias. Everything's at For You From Eve. Listen to my podcast, watch my YouTube vlogs, watch my podcast, all that good stuff. Watch my shorts. Make sure you follow, download, subscribe, listen to my ads all the way through. Go shop any promos down below. You guys are amazing, and I'm so grateful for all of your support and love. Thank you so much for listening. I'm going to go make a better coffee now because that coffee did not hit the spot. Let me know what else you want to hear from my podcast, and I will talk to all of you next week. Mwah! And I hope you have an amazing Easter.